The first impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects, nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Priya Mishra, second semester student of DME Media School, welcome you all to the second day of this 1 week development program. Is an initiative taken by DME Media School for the academic and overall development of the students. Our guest for today is Mr. Ritwik Ghosh, Content and Communication Strategist. Sir will talk about the topic paradigm of virtual event in the era of the pandemic. Now, I would like to invite Dean DME Media School, Professor Amrit Saxena, and convener of this development program for students to address the gathering.
Thank you, Priya. So today is the second day of this development program for students. We started this program yesterday with the address by Professor Ujjal Chaudhary, Pro Vice Chancellor of Adamast University. And he talked about the branding and the marketing. And today is the second day. And today we are talking about various aspects of virtual events. So it's a virtual event which is being organized. In fact, since the pandemic has struck in 2020, we are exposed to these kind of meetings and the events. Though in between, when there was some relief, we tried to do a mix of the both, the virtual and the physical, as we did in the second International Film Festival, CIFI 2020, in December 2020. So that time we did it in the hybrid mode, wherein we were doing certain sessions from Studio 62, and some sessions were being online. So it was a mix, it was a blended approach that we adopted. And then when the things improved in the month of March this year, we also organized a few events in the physical mode, like peer-to-peer faculty development program we organized in the physical mode, but there also, the people joined in the virtual mode, in the online mode. And then obviously we produced a program in the studio on the Women's Day. So for the last more than a year, we have been switching over from one mode to another, from physical to virtual, then virtual to physical, and then again physical to virtual. And then we have also been adopting, as I said, that this blended approach, wherein few sessions are being conducted in the physical mode, some in the virtual mode. And also, while some part of the same event is in the virtual mode and some in the physical mode, as I was telling you that when we organized this Women's Day function. So we did this in the physical mode in Studio 62. All the guests and the students were there itself. But then we opened it to the students online, wherein the students could have asked the questions, and those questions were received by me, and then I was putting those questions to the guests. So there are so many ways and means which we can adopt. So there are different kind of paradigms, and Mr. Ritwik Ghosh will, in fact, we will be talking about these different paradigms of the virtual events and how the things have changed. So I believe, the way Mr. Ritwik Ghosh is well versed with the latest technology, and latest applications which are available, and how those applications can be put to use, and how the programs could be made more interesting. So we will be talking about diverse things in today's session, and I believe that we all are going to be benefited by his presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Professor Ravikant Swami, Director DME, to address the gathering.
So it's a great afternoon again, and yes, students. Development is something, as I said yesterday in the inaugural also, that education is about overall development. It does not pertain only to the books or to the knowledge part. It has many more things, and the foremost thing is application of that knowledge when we talk about development. So it's a program from which you are going to benefit a lot. Talking about today's topic, the paradigm of virtual events. Yes, everything has become virtual, and I don't know what more is going to become virtual. So we are moving towards a virtual world, and we can't even thank COVID because thanking a pandemic would be a very odd statement. But yes, there are several examples wherein even at DME, Amritsar Balamai is a proof that we used to conduct the interviews virtually, and then in the end we used to say ki ek baar milne bula lo. So then now the scenario has changed. Now we don't say that in the end ek baar milne bula lo. We don't say that. So that is the way this world is moving. Yes, there is a complete paradigm of virtual events. And talking about today's speaker, well, I have worked with Ritwik ji since the last 4 years, and I can tell you the kind of professional experience, the kind of international experience he has, it is unmatchable, and you are definitely going to gain from today's program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now, it's time to know our guest of the day, Mr. Ritwik Ghosh. Mr. Ritwik Ghosh was an assistant professor at DME Media School till recently. At present, he is visiting faculty here. In the past, he was in the UAE and in Saudi in the Royal Commission Media Center. He has worked in prominent media organizations like the BBC, Financial Times, All India Radio, ETV, and for Shakiron TV. He has also spent a stint in the ad industry. With about 20 years of experience in the media and entertainment industry, Mr. Ritwik has done and have been part of several events. Right from the time when events used to be the typical tradition type, then there was no internet. Then came the support of internet and social media, and to the present times when events now are being conducted in the virtual online mode. Mentioning now, I'm going to mention some of his background. With his rock band, he has done number of large-scale concerts and charity shows, which involved all the aspects of event management. He was a part of major marketing promotional event for BBC conducted in Siliguri and part of other media events. He has done events with celebrities including Bollywood. He was involved with an NGO for upliftment of street and slums children and have done events involving them. In the early days, Mr. Ritwik was a volunteer in the grand launch of Modi Xerox, which at that time was a unique extravaganza because it involved hydraulic automated set, laser show, and all the glittery and glamorous paraphernalia. Being the technical and creative director for some of the world-renowned choreography and theater artists from India, USA, Germany, and Poland, he took care of the correspondences, requirements, coordination, hospitality, venue, tech rider, PR, and publicity too of the event for them. He has done mega turnkey event projects for some of the top educational institutes, one of which involves 2,000, participants, 5,000 guests, 94-feet multi-level and hydraulic stage, massive bespoke shows, hydraulic music production, multimedia, other than the other aspects. Sir has been felicitated by Gymkhana Club Delhi on its centenary among the few, and Neem Rana Arts Foundation, apart from others. At DME, he was an integral part of one major mega event and three major online mega events with the DME Media School team under the leadership of Dr. Ambrish Saxena and Dr. Sushmita Bala. Mr. Ritwik has been one of the recognized light designers, multimedia, and sound engineers of Delhi for over a decade in the event sector. Now, without further delay, I would like to request our guest to please share his thoughts on the topic paradigm of virtual event in the era of the pandemic. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Priya, for such an elaborate introduction. Thanks a lot. And first and foremost, I would like to thank Ambrish sir for inviting me to this series. Thank you so much, sir. And Sushmita ma'am also, thank you so much, ma'am. And of course, how can I miss Swami sir? And I really thank him so much for the kind words he spoke about me. Thank you so much, Swami sir. And then I would also like to thank DME, the entire DME Media School and DME for inviting me here. Thank you so much. So to start off, perhaps we could just see a short video. And actually last year I was involved with these people. So this is basically Chevening. It's a UK government initiative. So they have their scholarships, they have a lot of programs. So Chevening is like one of, it's very established thing. And I got involved with them last year. And I did the entire music production, video production for them. So it was a virtual event. So we can perhaps take a glimpse of that. I did it in last February. So I'd just like to share my screen. So here we have, this is a screen recording of the event. So there are other features also. Basically only this particular feature was screen captured. And the entire video production, the music production and all that, the entire video that I did is being played, will be played. I mean, I'll just be showing you. So that will be on the, like you have in real life, bada sa stage hota hai and all that. And then in the backdrop, we have the LED screen, LED wall. So displays are played on that. Similarly, the video will also be played there. And apart from that, just to give you a background, what happens here in this platform is when you enter the event, so you basically choose an avatar and your name will be displayed on your head, and you can also interact with the other people around. So this is actually a virtual platform, but these avatars are all like, the people who have actually, the guests who are here, the participants who are here. So just let's have a, this. So all these people are actual participants in this event, and you can see their names on their heads. Then you can see the chat also, responses, likes, so they'll be popping up. So it's very interactive, and this entire venue is like exactly how they have it there in real life. So now you can see that music video being played on the LED wall on the stage. And actually you can also climb up on the stage, and a lot of activities. So this is like the most see. And you can just see how these messages are popping up, like somebody's clapping. Now you can see the chat also popping up. So this is basically just for you to get a world is, and then I would again play another short clip for you demonstrating how the entire thing works, the entire virtual environment, and the companies who are actually helping with this sort of providing this sort of platform. So this is just to establish the background of what I'll be speaking about. So this is what we'll be talking about, the latest virtual world of events. And well, of course, pandemic did give a major boost to virtual events, and well, the word pandemic in itself has like I'm paranoid about it, but so I'm trying to accept it. So now I'll begin with my presentation. And, so well, this is how it's going to be like. This is the entire set. It's a virtual set that we created. So of course, COVID it did halt the business organizations, people meeting in person to grow their business, to promote things, and these events are a major tool for PR also, marketing, and all that. But then with the changing scenario, the media also changed, the technology was there, so that was adopted, and things started moving forward. So not many people, they tried to adopt, because like business, commerce, this cannot stop. The world will stop otherwise, right? So people started adopting to the change that took place due to COVID. And of course, now we are like, driven by a lot of digital technology, graphics, art, aesthetics, social networking, and the video that I showed you, it's got the entire, designing, architecture, and all that stuff. And of course, you see the entire thing, the second video that I showed you was entirely 3D model. So using all these technology and, available advancements in technology, people could adopt to a new solution, that is the virtual solution for events, so that the interaction doesn't stop. Now I tried to gather some stats also from Google Trends that to actually see, like, has there been a growth in virtual events. So I just went to Google Trends, and I tried to find out how the trend is worldwide, and you can see, like, February 16th onwards, there has been substantial growth in the events, right, worldwide, online events. So this is like virtual events. You can see the term. So I search for virtual events. So I use the key term virtual event, and you can see a substantial growth also, right, world over. And then I searched for the India specific trend, and you can see like from February there has been quite substantial growth in India also in terms of virtual events. So why events? We'll just brush up. I'm sure like many students they've already studied the paper event management, and for those who are like yet to study this paper, so we just do a background brush up quickly. So events, like, it's one of the very major tools for PR, and events are conducted for common purpose, common interest, like people meet, and then they would do some certain things, like it can be a conference, it can be some meet, it can be a symposium and things like that. So people meet for a common purpose. Then of course people want to network, right? So say for example some 500 people join, or even if it's 100 people. So if it can be global also. So well, you don't know each other. So once you're on one platform, you would like to know each other, and maybe there are many resourceful people. So connecting, networking, that would help in your growth also. Then business marketing and promotion, it's a very major tool, right? We have the exhibitions and all, wherein like you see this trade fair. Trade fair is like what it's for: business development, marketing, and promotion of certain products, brands, and stuff like that. So, well, if you are not able to have sort of like a trade fair in real life, so what would you do? You would obviously like to, have it on a virtual platform. Let people come and join, and things cannot just stay put and not move ahead. So it's very important. Like these sort of activities, they keep happening for trade, commerce, development, progress. Then, of course, events are conducted for publicity and announcements. Also, maybe some new scheme and things like that. They need to be put forth before people. So we should have some events wherein press, people from the press and media are also invited, and then these events happen, and the announcement, the publicity, the message is disseminated to the masses, right? Then you have the exhibitions, entertainment exhibition. It can be many type of exhibitions, product exhibitions, art, painting, and stuff like that. Then of course, entertainment is another major factor, and then establishing goodwill. So these are like some of the important events why events are conducted. So event management, let's just do a recap how event management works. So first and foremost, an event goal or objective is established, then team, build up a team, how you working, then you have your vendors list, resources whom you would be contacting for what, then you decide upon the budget and you do the budgeting of various aspects of the event. Then you decide the date, when you do the registrations. Most important is registration, because you have vendor registration, participants, invitees, then you have the passes, ticketing, tickets, forms. So many, registration is very important, because once you have the registration, you have the data, you know how many people are coming and all that. Then event branding, you start branding, you have to create a logo, tagline, theme, and giveaways, like maybe some trophies or certificates and stuff like that. So you brand your event. Then event marketing. So once you've decided about the event, how will you actually be talking, and how will people come to know about your event? So you do the event marketing. So it's an entire field in itself. Then we have the collaterals like brochures, pamphlets, catalogs, and all. Partnerships. You do partnerships with minded, or with the people who are fit to be partners with your event and your purpose. Then you seek for sponsors. Then you create a master plan for the event, how it's going to be like. Then you do the talent, speaker, guest, celebrity management also here, because you have to have some brand ambassador, also some value. So these people are going to add value to your event, right? Then you have the visitors, exhibition, and all this management. So you will have your team would comprise of various sections. So one part, maybe one section of your team would be managing the visitors, the exhibitors, and all. Then the entire event technology is there. So you have the light, sound, camera, projection, web, and all that stuff. So this is like offline, but then offline stuff we are going to bring online, right? Then you have the set design, decoration, safety and security, which is very, very important aspect. Then, of course, the essentials and the venue management essentials like drinking water and lavatories, portable mountains. You have these portable lavatories and then the entire venue management. So there is there can be an outburst of crowds. So how do you manage that and all that? Then you have the volunteers, and then the day when you have the event. And once your event is over, then post-event. So cleaning up the entire venue, and then all that which happened, you have to also, after the event also, so that it moves on. So you're talking about the event, you're sharing, a lot of resources which you gathered in the event. So a lot of post-event activities, and you actually establish this entire event as a brand for also the subsequent years or whenever you're planning to have it next, right? Then the 5 C's of management: concept, you must have the concept, coordination amongst the entire team, then control of things like, certain things might get loose and go out of control. So you have to keep it in control. Maybe your budget shoots up or something. So it cannot be like that, right? Excuse me. So everything should be in control. Then, of course, the culmination when you are having the event, and then the closeout. Closeout is also very important. So, you should have a very neat finish. So the entire virtual event, like most important in today's time, is like you must have things in figures. It should be quantifiable, right, and in numbers, so that you actually know where you are standing, where exactly you are. So once you have the stats, the data, the figures, then you actually know how your ROI is. ROI is like return on investment, because you're investing in terms of time, efforts, resources, money. So you must get returns of that. So that is also very important, right? So we want to have that. And virtual events, they facilitate this. And this is like we're just discussing the background. Then you have basically, I also happen to have experienced all these three aspects: the traditional way of doing events, then the interactive way, and now the virtual event. So in the traditional mode, what happened is like it used to be like you have the event. At that time, there was no internet, no social media. So you would have to promote things in a different way, like, posters, pamphlets, banners, and stuff like that. Then you have the event, and then you would call the press, publish it in the newspaper, and things like that. Then slowly, as technology grew, you had the internet and social media came in. So what happened is like things became more interactive. Like people started publishing about the event on social media, and doing some paid promotions and stuff like that. So things became much easy in terms of promoting your event, right? Talking about your event. And then what happened is like when the offline mode became very difficult, especially during the COVID times, things move on to the virtual platform entirely on the internet. So this is how the transition happened. Then the advantages of virtual event are like you get wide outreach. You can reach out to people globally. Then it's cost effective also, more engaging, more you get more participation because your outreach is more, and it's also flexible. Like maybe like you want to postpone it or something. So So you can do that, and it has various aspects of flexibility. So things like that, and these are like some of the very good factors which are there, like the advantages with the virtual event. Then virtual event elements are like you have the entire immersive environment, you have the interactive display, engaging chats, webinars, social networking, question and answer sessions. So all these facilities are there on one platform only. You get all these facilities and flexibilities on one same platform. And then what happens is like you can also collect the various data and have it in one place and do your analysis. So this is like, good advantage of having virtual events. Then, of course, there's a great bit of technical scope involved. Technology is there. We used to have regular, like the TV sets and all. And there's this company called Vizarti. They provide, 3D virtual sets for a lot of TV studios and all. So all that came in to use when these virtual events started and the virtual platforms were created for events. So let's take a sneak peek into the studio for hosting virtual events. So this is a typical Chroma setup. You all must have seen at Studio 62 also. We have it, the entire virtual setup in Studio 62 also. So this is a similar setup. So you can see, like, they have got these LED panels and all set up, lighting set up, and the sound and monitors and everything. And then the right bottom image is the final output, right? So there's a set added to it. Then you have various picture-in-picture boxes and stuff like that. So all this has been added in a vision mixer or like in a computer system using softwares. And this is the typical working environment behind the scene of the beautiful things that you see on screen and your lovely experience of the virtual world. So this is how it takes place. You have the entire equipment set up, people behind it operating, and then interactions and everything. So things like that. So this is the behind the scene, the technical behind the scene of virtual events that take place. Then this is an entire virtual set, like I showed you in the first video and the second video. So this is pretty high tech. So as you know, like Expo 2020 is happening in Dubai. So they have come up with a lot of solutions, and this is like an entire design. So like designers are involved in this, wherein like they would design the entire arena. So it's like a 3D model of in real life architecture and things like that. So because like people look for good experiences. So good experience like UX user experience, that matters a lot, right? So you can host your event on a fully customizable virtual environment. So like if you subscribe to these platforms, you can they have these templates and all, like you have templates for PPT and stuff like that. So like they are very, very basic. But when you're like on these platforms, you have a lot of templates, so it's customizable. So that's where I was like, and then you have this entire virtual world where you can move around, and the people that you are seeing in these pictures are avatars, but real people are behind it. It's not something animated or it's just created. These are the real people, but their avatars are there in this virtual world, right? So you can instantly share your experience on social. If you see the last picture in this entire slide, so they have the social media booths. So you can do a whole lot of gamut of things in this virtual environment. Then coming to virtual event platform, what happens here is just 1 second, please. So we'll be discussing about the users. So this platform is used for like trade shows, exhibitions, then job fairs, education fairs, convocations, conferences, festivals and award ceremony, corporate events, educational and institutional events, and of course you can have the entertainment shows also. So like nowadays, a lot of these uh, you know musicians, theater, and stand-up comedians, they have taken to this platform to host events. Then virtual event platform features, that is like, you can have live chats. So it's very interactive, very interactive. So that is what we want, maximum interaction. So you can have live chats, you can have content preferences, what sort of content, like I just showed you, like the previous, we'll just go back to the previous slide. Yeah. So here you see you have the entire arena. So if you want to go for networking, you go to one booth. If you want to attend speaker session, you can go to the speaker session. Just how it happens in the real life. So that is how it is. Then you have like searches. You can have search where you can type in your preference search, and you could search for whatever you are looking for. Maybe there's some exhibition happening wherein like you have let's take the example of trade fair. So you want to visit Uttar Pradesh Pavilion. So you're typing Uttar Pradesh Pavilion and it takes you there. So all that is there. Then you have an event badge. Then visiting cards also you can have, wherein you can share your visiting cards with the participants who are there in this event. Then the content management system, which I'll be telling you in elaborate. And then the booth creation, you can create your booths, you can have the interaction there. Then media conversations, visitor analytics, which is most important. Like after the event, you want to analyze everything, like how did it go, what happened, how many participants, and all that, and like the loads of data. So you have all that automated on these virtual event platforms. Then of course e-commerce can also take place. So this is another virtual event environment. Like I just told you about the various booths and sections. So you have the reception, then you enter. This is like an exhibition, virtual exhibition that's happening. So you enter the main lobby, then you have the products which are in display, like the bikes are there. Then you have the meeting and interaction booths. Then you can also have the brand activation booths, which is the second last picture in this. Then of course you can also order. There are these kiosks and all, so you can order for your meal. So what happens is, like, you have your coupons and all. So like Zomato, maybe Zomato is integrated with this. So there's a list of, you have a menu. So you order using those coupons and codes, and it is delivered to your house, to your place, to you at home, right? So all these facilities are there. So overall, like, they have made it very interactive and very interesting. So it's a entire new world, new altogether, which has come up. Then what I was talking to you about, like content management system. So what happens here is, like, you manage this entire system. It's a platform in itself, which is integrated in this virtual event platform, wherein you manage registrations, you can manage exhibition halls, manage content, publish content, manage event settings, the promos, then analytics, chats. You can moderate chats also, then manage booths, and then have a preview of the whole thing. So this is how the entire content management system of a virtual event platform works. So this is the backend, like the dashboard, and you can say this is like the user interface UI, and the backend is like like any website. I suppose like you're familiar with WordPress, so that's a very simplified form. But in this platform, you have lot many facilities. So this is how this platform is: the backend, the dashboard, and you have your analytics also, and like the welcome message and all this you can upload and configure. and then preview and sessions that are coming up, what time it's starting and all that. And then the analytics, like how many people are there, a number of meetings that would be there, messages, content watched, social shares, and all that stuff. Then how, like the streaming, then you have your speakers, because you have to create a schedule also. Maybe like you have a 10-day event or a 5-day event or a 3-day event. So there are maybe some 20 speakers. So you schedule them, right? So it's all automated. You can do a lot of automations in this. And then you have the analytics. This is the analytics dashboard, if you can see. So like it's showing like total attendees, 5,429, engagement, 248, users, with meetings and communications, chat messages, and then complete analytics is there. So you know what exactly is going on, or what, even post-event, you have the entire analysis. You can make the analysis and, draw your conclusion. And then the platform offers live chat, content preferences, universal search, event bag, wherein people can come and collect their, like if they are attending various sessions. So suppose you have a conference, they attended various sessions, so there were presentations, they can download and keep those presentations in their bag. Or if they are in visiting some trade event, then they can go around visiting booths and collecting the brochures, pamphlets, and keeping saving it in their bags. Then you have the event badge, localization, of course, language. So there is preferences for language. You get the preferences for language also. Maybe like I'm a Hindi speaker, I cannot even understand English, so I can choose my language preference also. So all these facilities you get. Then booth creation, media conversations, and of course analytics, e-commerce, mobile management, and support also, right? So these are the features that you get on these platforms. You can integrate and configure each one of them. Then these platforms are further integrated. Say for example, you want to send out emails. Say for example, somebody registered for the event, and you want to acknowledge that person that you are registered for this event, right? So these mails, like this MailChimp platform is there. So you can configure MailChimp with this virtual event platform. So all these mails, you can pre-program these mails and they will automatically be sent, right? Then you have the Salesforce, which is your SaaS. So SaaS stands for like the SaaS platforms are like software as a service. So like Salesforce and all are used for CRM, customer relation management and all. So you can integrate this also with the event platform, this virtual event platform. Then you have a HubSpot, Marketo, all these like event, right? These are used for marketing. Like you're having your event, so how will you reach out to maximum people? How will you market your event? Okay, so that maximum people come to know about it, and then they attend your event. So you can the people who will be on these platforms and will come to know through these platforms, they can register also directly, and then you can draw out the entire data from these platforms and import it into your main platform. So things like that. So these are some of the stacks which you can integrate with your main virtual event platform. Then what is expected? What can be expected of all this, that putting in all this efforts, technology? So content proliferation. So content proliferation across internet engagement tools, like you have news, photos, videos, PPTs, polls, contests, feedback, all this loads of content which is generated. So it is also sent out to the stakeholders, to the participants, to the guests, to the visitors, all those who are interested or related to your event. So all those people are going to benefit from this loads of content that has been created, right? So then you have the forums and blogs, online reputation management, which is very important. So online reputation management, is basically like there are people who can have very good experiences and they share it in their chats. So you can publish it, like, people giving feedback, positive feedback. Some people might have certain difficulties, so they put, publish their feedback, so you help them out. So all those things, so reviews, feedback, ratings, all that. So all falls under online reputation management. Then you have your the consumers, okay, community building. So of course, if you host some event, like we had SIFI, ICANN, Vritika, all these events that take place, what does it do? So many people come to this event, okay? Like we had virtual, we conducted it in the online virtual mode, SIFI, and then also last year ICANN and Vritika also. So many participants came in, okay? So they benefited a lot. Then what happened is, like, maybe say on Facebook page, all of them like the page. So now what happens is, like, we have a place, we've built a community of like-minded people. Say for example, SIFI page, okay, SIFI Facebook page. So what happens is, like, you all have film enthusiasts, filmmakers, film lovers on that platform. So you basically built a community. So like that, okay. So you can create your microsite, curate content, and all that stuff. So this is how we benefit and go about when we conduct virtual events. So these are the benefits. These are like what we collect in the end, the goodies, right? So as you, if say for example, you as a virtual event consultant, right? So many of you might like to choose this profession, go into events, and of course, with this development of technology and this new wave of doing things, so you have to learn and go adopt to this change. So understand it. So what happens is, like, if you're taking it as a profession, so you can go about like as a consultant. So what happens is, like, you have the pre-event consulting, wherein you have the briefing sessions, and then you understand the exact need, the purpose, the objective of conducting the event. Then you go for the event branding. Then you do all the production work, how it has to be managed, how it will happen, the arena, the virtual environment, the design, and all that. Then you go in for the sponsorships, partnerships. Then you create content to promote to all those stakeholders who are involved, to give them maximum information about the event. Then you have traffic generation. You generate traffic, like more and more people. You would want to draw maximum number of people, relevant people, of course, to your event. Then you have the event, and then post-event consulting. Like, once the event is over, you actually create a property. So it's not just simply like एक इवेंट हो गया, अब तो खत्म हो गया, अब क्या मतलब है. It's basically a property. वो सारा जो content आया, all that content that you accumulated, the positive aspects of that event that happened, okay, the content, all that you further use for marketing and disseminate it to the attendees, to the prospective attendees of the events, which will be the same event that would be happening in the next year or whenever it happens, and things like that. So this is how you will go about if you're a consultant, right? So just to give you a brief idea, you need to know this, because if you know this workflow, you would actually know how to design your event, right? How to go about things step by step. So I also have a very small case study. It's actually not a very small case study. It's a big news, of course. So this is a case study. I'll just share with you one case study. So there's this Hubilo company. They were into offline events and all. But then in February last, what happened is they had no income, zero income, everything zero, and they did not know what to do with their company. So they had two options. Either they would dissolve their company, they had 30 employees. So all these employees would become unemployed, no money, nothing, and it's over. But then what happened is like they brainstormed and then they came up with this idea of moving to the virtual. So they started, they absolutely made this transition from the real world like offline event activities, which was absolutely zero. They had nothing in hand. Total February was zero revenue for them. They made a transition to this entire virtual event business. So there, during this COVID only, they could make $10 million annual recurring revenue amidst this COVID crisis. So this is their success story, and it's really very inspiring. And these guys who formed this company, who like the founders of this company, Forbes considered them like 30 under 30. So they're all like below 30, within like the age bracket of 30, but they came into like this Forbes 30 under 30. So it's a big success story, and I feel inspired by it, and I suppose like all of you should get inspiration from this and just move forward and decide upon things. And if you want to venture into such like new sort of profession or startups, give it a thought, but plan well. Do not take any step in haste. Have unique ideas. Ideas matter. If you have a brilliant idea and you think it can succeed, you can give it a shot. So things like that, and just work hard and have your ideas, unique ideas, think out of the box, and success is all there for you. So with this, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much. And now I'm ready to take the questions. So that is where we are.
Thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening lecture. We really got to learn a lot. I would like to request all the participants to kindly fill the feedback form and get the participation certificate. Now, I would like to request Ms. Mudita Raj, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to moderate question answer sessions.
For such an enlightening session, we have a few questions from the students. Our first question is from Aditi. Virtual events are here to stay. When talking about their condition and management, technical know-how becomes a key skill. How do you think we can bridge this gap?
Well, start learning new things, like, you have a mobile. I give you an example. Not Purana, maybe even till 5 years back, what used to happen is कि कोई भी product आता था तो उसके साथ एक मैनुअल आता था. घड़ी भी आपने लिया तो उसके साथ एक मैनुअल आ रहा है, उसमें they show how to wind the watch. Okay, so things changed. As artificial intelligence is growing, human intelligence is also growing, right? Now if you go out to buy a mobile phone, you won't get a manual with it. It would not be telling you about what app to install and all that. So it's a culture, it's the way of thinking. So when you see all these things, like, you all are in a way tech savvy because you are using mobiles, you are using laptops. So the more you dwell into it, the more you dwell into this, so you get hang of things, you start using it. Of course, your teachers and mentors are there to guide you. They are always there for you. You can take things forward. And other than that, you have YouTube, which is your biggest teacher also. So something which you would want to learn in a jiffy, in a very short time, you can Google or you can go to YouTube and see, how the functionalities are. There are tutorials. So that is one more easy way of learning things. And other than that, you have certification courses. So you choose an area where you want to specialize or get into that, if you're planning to get into that field. So you can acquire certifications, and of course, teachers, Your mentors, they are always there to help you. You can seek their guidance, their help. So that is how you can move forward anytime. And that is how I have moved forward.
Our next question, sir, is from Ananya. She wants to know, screen fatigue and social isolation are hindrances to virtual events. What are some key tips that event managers should keep in mind while planning the events?
Yeah, screen fatigue. So this is now one very trending keyword, screen fatigue. So these platforms, the user interfaces, the developers, you call them the user developers. So they are working, in developing these platforms in such a way that it is like they mention it on their platform itself that this is screen fatigue free. So it's so interactive. It's so, the color combinations, the contrast, everything, all this matters, right? So all these matters in terms of your screen fatigue. So this is like the entire color combination. Yeah, this is a subject in itself. So all these developers who are into this development of these softwares and platforms, they keep this in mind, and you will see that on their website, or like if you go to these platforms and if you visit these platforms, you will see they have mentioned on many platforms, of course, not on every. They have specifically mentioned that this is screen fatigue free.
Sir, our next question. Our next
The
question
next
is
part,
from...
can I kind of complete the next part?
Yeah, yes, sir.
That was like in real life interactivity. See, of course, in real life interactivity is anytime I like interacting in real life. But see, on the other hand, on the contrary, what happens is you cannot give away with your purpose, okay, your business. Like we are having this session. This is a virtual session that we are having. So the most important part is like you getting information knowledge. So if I kept on waiting, like, okay, one fine day, this lockdown will be over and colleges would start working, and then students would turn up, and then I would go and, impart all this information. So it's like a very long process, long time. Who has the time? So to, make it quick, Amrish and everybody decided, okay, let's, going for this sort of a virtual event wherein we will be imparting knowledge and information about these separate subjects. So to pace up things. And our purpose is solved. The main purpose is transfer of information that is happening.
So, sir, our next question is from Rudransh. He wants to know, with so many events happening, there is an information overload. How should virtual event managers deal with this?
Basically, what happens is you have to choose your own niche. Okay, so you have to stick, like, now there's information everywhere. So you cannot say it's like overload. Overload is when you're overloading yourself. You're taking in so much information, like the table is laid, like you go for a buffet lunch or something. So what happens in buffet? You have so many dishes, so many things to eat, but then you have to choose and pick कि मेरे को इतना ही खाना है, मेरे को इतना ही quantity चाहिए, and I'm good with that. But I have options. So you choose and pick for yourself. So what happens here also, like loads and loads of information, but information overload is when you are imposing too much of information on yourself. So you have to choose what information, okay, this is what I want, specific. Okay, specify your preferences and go in for that. So you'll not feel, information overloaded.
Sir, another question related to this is that since digital events these days are not paid, the number of audience often drops after a certain time. How should one deal with this?
Events are not paid. You do have paid events. You have ticketing system, you have passes. Okay, maybe like some small events that you're handling, that can be like, you might have this difficulty there, you might face difficulty there, but then like the major big huge events where people are looking forward to participating, okay, and you reach out to them, you tell them that this is the event that's happening, this is how you're going to benefit from it, you have a very big turnover. People buy tickets and attend events, and they are pretty expensive. $200 के $300 के $500 के tickets बिकते हैं.
Sir, next question is from Munna. He wants to know, in India, digital divide is a major issue. How do you think the event industry will be affected with this if we continue the trend of virtual events?
See, we have the different strata. Maybe there's a section of society who are handicapped with technology, but then you have various means to reach them out. Okay, you have this is like wherein the digital marketing guys come to play. So like choosing social media, say for example, okay. So social media, like people think, okay, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the like. People very like recently I confronted this same issue with one set of my students. They were planning of promoting their certain products and certain services, like going online and doing a campaign to promote their whatever, their product is. So then they said, like, sir, how can we find the right people, and how can we target our audience? So I told them, why don't you try Telegram? So now Telegram is one more very major platform for social interaction and social networking. You have groups, you have open groups, you join Telegram, join those groups, and then you can promote your stuff and meet your objective. So there are very many methods. So this is where, like, the professionals, like we are creating professionals in the media school. Okay, all these courses, these special, sessions that are being held, it's to, enhance the skills, capabilities, knowledge of the DME Media School students. And they are the ones who will be planning and the flag bearers of the coming times. So, of course, we can handle this situation also.
Sir, our next question is from Akshita. She wants to know, could you please tell us more about the post-event publicity and the ideas of virtual events as a property?
Yeah. So, say for example, everybody is aware of SIFI, ICANN, Ritika. Okay. So now these events, these mega events have been established as a brand. Okay. Say for example, जैसे कि Sunsilk Award or what Filmfare Awards. Filmfare Awards is a property because every year it happens and everybody knows what Filmfare Awards is. Similarly, now people know what SIFI is, now people know what ICANN is, now people know what Ritika is. They know it's a mega event and this is what happens in the event, and this is the value of event, like good films come in. Okay, so many like resources, so many speakers are there, lots and loads of resources are created. So it's become a brand in itself. People will look forward to participating because they will benefit from it. So every year they will look forward to these events. That okay, we look forward to it. Maybe it's going to happen in February, March, May, September, December, whenever. But then what happens is we would love to participate in it because it's got a brand value, it's got a quality. We are going to benefit from it. So many people come. There's going to be interaction. We can do networking and stuff like that. And then the content that is generated, right? So like what happened is like each session was recorded. All those research activities that is been projected on this in this the event, ICANN event, all that has been curated. Now, if people want to refer to it, they can just simply go to ICANN YouTube channel, and then they get all the resources, right from ICANN 1, ICANN 2, ICANN 3, ICANN 4. All the resources are there in one place. So this content is there for them. Then, of course, all this content can be promoted also slowly, like post-event. Many people couldn't attend the event. So we have the entire guest list, we have all the email IDs, we have data of all those people. We can share with them that this is what happened. And that, like, for example, I might have missed some session and I want to, go back and look into it, or I want to repeat CU. So all that content is there. And then as an event manager, I am sharing those content again and again, also reinforcing my message. People are seeing it. They are seeing the quality also, revisiting all that. So I create a brand in itself. So this is post-event activities. All the content that is there, we reshare it, we look back into it and reap the benefits.
Sir, I think the last question for the day is, what do you think will happen to virtual events when public gatherings start again? How will the hybrid mode function?
Well, of course, it's going to be an amalgamation of both. There are many events, if they take place in the virtual environment, there are benefits of that. And then, as you see, due to this technology which is there, so even offline, there can be booths and all. So it's going to be a hybrid form wherein you will have the benefits of online. The virtual platform is always there, and then offline you have the in-person interactions. So that is going to be there, and all that is happening online. Lots of it is still going to be there like that. So maybe like post event or pre-event, there can be a lot of activities. Then, because like everybody wants to cut on cost also, right? So we can have certain things offline, certain things online, like many now. If you see this Voice of India and all this singing contest, boogie and stuff, what happens? Initially, जो भी prelims होता था, वो stage पे होता था. You come and perform. If you qualify, you will be put to the next round. Now what happens? They ask for the videos. अपना गाना गा के भेज दो, अपना dance का video भेज दो, and on the basis of that, we will shortlist. So you see, like part of it is happening online also. So similarly, like I suppose, like when this phase is going to be over and things are going to be offline, so there will be a lot of changes, lots and lots of changes in the way events will be taking place.
Thank you, sir. That was the last question for the day. Thank you for your patience in answering all the questions. Over to you, Priya.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Sushmita Bala, Head DME Media School, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you, Mr. Ritwik, Ghosh, for
Thank you so
sharing.
much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
It was indeed a very, very interesting session. And स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत फायदा हुआ होगा, उन्होंने बहुत कुछ सीखा होगा, और कितनी सारी चीजें विद वीडियो एंड ऑल बताई. सो वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सेशन. और आंसर्स के साथ में जो आंसर्स दिए विद एग्जांपल्स ऑफ आई कैन एंड सिफी, वो जो इन स्टूडेंट्स ने अटेंड नहीं किया है उनको भी थोड़ा सा तो आइडिया लग ही गया होगा कि ये क्या था, और आगे जो भी प्रोग्राम्स होंगे वो उनको देखने को मिलेंगे. So thank you. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank our guest, Mr. Ritwik Ghosh, for joining us. I would like to thank all our participants for joining the program and making the session success. It gives me a great pleasure to inform the audience that tomorrow, on day 3 of this 7-day development program for students, our guest will be RJ Swati. She will be speaking on the topic Radio Redefined During the Pandemic in India. Her session will start at 3 p.m. Once more, thank you to all those present here in the session today. Thank you.
DME has embraced digital paradigm shift by adopting technology-based learning.
Unlike other colleges, we adopted a two-step strategy. In step 1, teachers would be preparing the videos, students would be watching them. In step 2, the student would be coming to the tutorial, clarifying the doubts, making the presentations and discuss with the teacher.
At DME, we have invested in the best in the class academic ERP, which allows us to have a 360-degree robust communication amongst all the stakeholders, students and faculty members.
DME's virtual learning mechanism is no less than real-time classroom teaching,
wherein the students are provided the pool of e-learning resources in the form of PPTs, video lectures and online classes in a very student-friendly environment. There is no need of mental blocks. Online teaching is as effective and interesting as offline teaching. Let the students enjoy this new mode of education.
In DME, we believe in quality education. We take care of our students. We want to see them happy. Mental and emotional health are one of the most challenging issues of present times. DME Mentoring Cell takes care of that. Not just this, we go beyond academic curriculum to instill the most important employability skills in our students.